Sword of Sorcery number 3, written by Christy Marks, art by Aaron Lopresti and Claude St. Albin. Last issue wrapped up with Amaya getting some of the amethyst magic and her aunt, Lady Morgul, summoning 2 assassins to kill her mother. So this issue picks up with Graciel telling Amaya basically how to use the magic and using it for battle purposes. So trying to get her to conjure up a shield with it, but Amaya is unable to do so, and her mother keeps on slapping right through it. And she's like, you got to keep going, you got to keep trying, because in the heat of battle, you need to know this. And Amaya's getting very frustrated at it. Meanwhile, whatever her name is, the one who keeps the records, she comes up and Lady Senshi says, hey, look, I know you wanted to save this until later, but you have been the first person to visit First Home in like thousands of years, so we need you to update our records. We need you to come in and give a talk. So can you just come in here and let us know what's up? And Amaya's like, whoa, hold on. First Home? That sounds like you're saying Earth is like the origin place. And it turns out, yes, Gemworld was migrated to. These people left Earth and came to Gemworld. So they are all from there. So at that point, Graciel's like, okay, but I need someone to train my daughter. And a big guy named Elzare steps up, and he's like, well, all right, I'll do it. So Elzare is going to train her, and it looks like he's not going to give her any slack at all. So then we cut to a clan that doesn't seem to be part of any house, and it lives outside the settled lands, called the Gagra. And there is a woman there who named Niati, who is asking for permission to avenge her mate's death. And the chieftain's like, no, I've told you no 1,000 times. Get over it and pick a new mate. But she's like, I will not. I'm going to avenge him. And the chieftain's like, if you leave, you'll die. And she's like, fine, whatever. I'm done here. So we cut back to Irati or whatever, training Amaya. And he is just full on laying into her and just like, make a shield. Come on, show me what you got. And so she does end up making a shield that defends from his mace. And then he goads her into making like razor claws that she can throw. And we see Amaya do so, and it works just as intended. So it's like, yeah, no, good job. Next time we'll work on your aim. But he wants to show her something, and he tosses her this mace that is way too big for her. And she's like, trying to dodge out of the way, basically, but she ends up catching it, and she's amazed that she's able to even hold it. Turns out that with the magic comes basically super strength, and sometimes physics in this world are a little bit different than you would expect. So we cut to Graciel giving the rundown on magics in the normal world, normal Earth, and basically saying, no, I didn't see anything. It seems like magics is just fairy tales and whatever. But Senshi specifically asks about the Black Diamond and whether there's any news of that, but she's like, no, I know, what are you even talking about? But before they can get into it, an urgent message comes in to Lady Graciel. Turns out her sister has agreed to meet on neutral ground at their brother's home, and they are going to talk it out and see if they can come to a thing. And it's like, all right, well, this takes priority. We got to go. Bye. So Amaya, meanwhile, is talking with some friends, other people from the Citrine house, and they're like, oh, were you a princess back on your homeworld too? And it's like, no, I would never have worn any of this back on my homeworld. It's like, oh, well, what would you wear? And she starts describing an outfit of what she would normally wear, and all of a sudden she transforms into it. And her mom comes in like, how did you get those clothes back? What? And she's like, I don't know. I just talked about it and they suddenly appeared. And it turns out these are probably some latent power she has from her father's side because he was a turquoise. So at that point, she's like, look, we'll get into that later. But right now, we got to go meet up with your aunt. And she's like, what? She wants to kill us. Why are we meeting up with her? I was like, no, we're going on neutral ground. He was a family member who he didn't have the genetic traits that were like would enable him to have the magic powers. So he's just neutral ground. He's a family member that we all trust. So they make their way up to the Eyrie, which is where they keep these flying mounts that look like combo lions and tigers, but with giant wings on them. and Ingvi, the one friend that she made from House Citrine, wants to come along with, but Graciel shuts her down and says, like, nope, this is a family matter. You're going to stay here. We're off. And so they fly their way off to the house of, what's his name? Morgul? No, that's the name of the aunt. I genuinely have no idea. Boj. B-H-O-J. So they arrive at his place. He's apparently... He's like runs a winery. He just makes good wine and cheeses and whatnot. And he's like, oh, it's so nice to see you in Amaya. You've grown up so much. It's fantastic to finally see you. You're the most beautiful niece I have. And she's like, I'm the only niece you have. And it's like, you're clever too. All right. Well, she's inside. Go on in. And like, you're not going to come in and moderate? And it's like, no. The reason I'm the neutral party is that I don't get involved in these things. But good luck to you. So they make their way in. Morgul's like, oh, Amaya, would you like some wine? It really is fantastic. And Amaya's like, why are you pretending to be nice? You've been in my head. Like, I know how evil you are. And she's like, I'm not evil. I wish that I could get you to see that I'm strong. I have to be strong to be a leader. And that's what's required of me. And she's like, yeah, well, it sounds like you just hate my mom. But anyway, they get to the business. And basically, Graciel lays out, she knows that Morgul is unable to get pregnant. There will be no heir from her line of the family. The next heir is Amaya. Amaya has to be the one that's next in line. So she puts forward that both Morgul and herself give up their magic, put it all into Amaya, and let her have the throne now. That's stopping any sort of blood feud they've got going on. And Amaya's first time hearing about this is now. She's like, oh, you want me to lead? And Morgul's like, okay, here's an idea, better plan. How about you give up your magic to both me and her? I will raise her and train her into how to actually lead a house, and I will let you live. That'll be my promise. And immediately Amaya's like, I'm not going to get... You want to pretend to be my mom? That's not how this is going to work. I'm not going to train under you. You're evil, and I'm not going to do that. And Morgul's like, this is the only way you're going to save your mom's life. You sure you want to turn it down so quickly? And she's like, no, I'm not going with you. So Morgul storms out, and it's basically a declaration of war. And they go back home and are going to prepare for that. Day later, as they're training, all of a sudden, in the records room, the portal stone, the portal crystal that brought them there is lighting up. And Maya's like, my mom left this in place and nobody should have it, especially no one who knows what it would do. So I don't know what's going on, but we can't wait to go get her. I have to find out what's going on. So she touches the portal crystal, she goes through, and she disappears. And as we know in Justice League Dark, Constantine was on the other side of that crystal, and he has brought her over for a little mini event thing going on. So yeah, I mean, I enjoy this. It's not quite as world-building-y as I liked in the first two issues, but it's a well-done story. I mean, it's building up now. We've got this war thing going on. We know where these different factions lie. So, no, I definitely did enjoy it. I don't see any real issues with it. So I'm going to give this one I'll give it an 8.5. I really do think that this is a fantastic story, and it is just building more and more with each issue. This one was a bit more low-key, but it was part of the story that needed to be told, and I think it did it fantastically of giving the exposition on certain things without overdoing it. So 8.5, looking forward to next issue.